Welcome again to The Naked Truth. This is Dr. Marco, America and the World. I want to jump off today because this never-ending political drama, socio-drama that goes on in our country and the news is just at times mind-boggling and amazing. This mass media, left, right, the spins that they put on things are just incredible. Everyone puts on spins, but there's limits to some where others have no limits. Watching the conventions for the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, Trump, Clinton, few little amazing points, mostly a lot of lies, most particularly on the Democratic side. It amazes me how people just continually go on and pick up something and then try to just turn it into something else. It's for the mere fact of attack on a party or candidate that they don't want or don't agree with because they're being controlled, bought and paid for by various factions. This is particularly true on the Democratic side. You know, it's amazing because if you look at the actual history, and I'm talking about real history, real facts, you find out that the Democratic Party was the strongest opposition to black lives, to Hispanics, but mainly this went all the way back to the African American population. The ones that was mostly against it throughout history had been the Democrats. They've changed a few things, yes, but they haven't really been a supporter. And why they receive so much support from the black community is somewhat beyond me. I really don't know. One big point I wanted to bring up in this particular broadcast is about this Mr. and Mrs. Khan, who lost their son, Captain Khan, in Iraq, serving as a captain in the United States Army. And my heart goes out to them. I do have an understanding of their feeling, being that psychiatry, psychology is largely my field. But I see that as well as the other guests, presenters that there were at the Democratic Convention, seeing that it was mostly pomp and circumstance and it was primarily directed at an attack on the Republicans, attack on Trump, more than anything else. Mr. Khan's words, I understand that they have this pain, they have this situation where, they're, as they're deemed in term, gold star parents. I get that. I understand that completely. But while the Democratic Party decides to get on there and decides to jump all over the Republican Party and Trump and say that Trump is divisive. I've heard that word so many times I could throw it up. And he is far more no divisive whatsoever as the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton. To put Mr. and Mrs. Khan up there was only purely a directed attack to Trump. That was their reason. It wasn't out of their compassion or their love or their care. It was utilized, they were being used by the Democratic Party and Clinton as an attack. In normal form is fine, and God knows, my heart goes out to them, and I understand it completely. I truly do. They have sacrificed and so forth. But to come off against Trump this way as if it is his fault in some way, it is not. They came over here at a time where all these things that are going on now weren't going on then. It is not the same situation. It is different. And to say that Trump would be the person that wouldn't have allowed them or allowed their son in and to serve is absolutely ludicrous and insane. That is not a true statement of fact by any means. It's an opinion, and I understand their loss and their grief, and my deepest sympathies and compassions go out to them. But I think they need to realize that they were being used by the Democratic Party to do this, and it was the wrong thing. Now, if the cons actually believe that this is how Trump is, then that's they're free and they have the right to believe that. But I think maybe they don't have all the facts, or they're being misinformed, as many of us are in the mass media, putting their spin on it. The Democratic Party has their hands in there with the money in the pockets, with the influence, with the power, a lot of different things. This should have not been the case. Trump didn't get on there and say that he was against him. He praised his son. He apologized to them for their loss. But again, this is two different time frames, two different things. Trump goes on about, certain factions of the Muslim population, especially these coming in from Syria, must be on hold. And there has to be a better way to follow that process. They have not followed the process, and they have wide open the borders in Europe. And we've seen what the result is from that. The result from that is that they are being attacked from the left, from the right, from every direction, mostly from the immigrants that have crossed their borders. Free-flowing, too many. Now they're starting to learn that lesson, and they're starting to make corrections to that in their best interest, and well as they should be under the circumstances. Unfortunately, we're not getting it here. And Obama and his administration has and is, and Clinton is the same, will do everything they can to bring all these refugees here. They've already brought, my understanding, 10,000 refugees. And they're bringing in the process, or have brought in just recently, 8,000 more. And bypassing Congress and the Senate, the House, are doing this under a rule that wasn't meant for this, under an executive type situation that wasn't really designed for something like this. It was designed for short term, and it was designed for less numbers. And now Hillary Clinton wants to bring it up to thousands and thousands more. And this is pure insanity, which has been stated by every security, law enforcement expert in our country. It is impossible to vet. They will infiltrate, just as they have done in Europe. Look at Paris. Look at France. Turkey, even, for that matter. Look at what's going on. If you have free-flowing borders, this is what will occur. Not to mention other criminal elements, not to mention drugs, not to mention everything else that will come across the border. But then they what they're doing is giving them a complete pass, free pass, citizenship. They're giving them their green cards. They're giving them driver's license. They're giving them Medicaid. They're giving them food stamps and other means of support that we are paying for. And we're going to be in danger at the same time. This is the very definition of insanity. Hillary Clinton goes on, on television and finally has a little bit of a new situation. I think it was with Chris Wallace. I can't remember for sure, but making statements that have already been proven to be out and out lies. This is what this person does. She lies. Continually, habitually. She does it well. They have a good spin. They've got great writers, and they put great spin on things. But people, you need to wake up, because this woman is a liar, and she could care less. She cares nothing about your life or mine or our family, about their life. If she did, that would have been evident in Benghazi. As far as I'm concerned, it's the same thing as being complicit in any murder, dereliction of duty in the military or law enforcement. They go in this convention, and they have their large convention, and they have all these parents of the African Americans that have been killed by police officers are involved in that type of situation, several of which have been proven that they created that situation themselves. It wasn't prejudiced, bigotry, racial motivation that got them killed. It was their stupidity that got them killed. I'm sorry for the parents. I am. But these things happen. And they are not touting all the true and real statistics that exist out there. Not only how many blacks are killed, how many whites are killed, how many Hispanic. What are all the You can't lump it in one thing and expect it to be just fine. It doesn't apply. You're not comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges. You're not. If you're going to do this, then do it the right way. We have situations where our government is not standing for us anymore. Not in the country, not out of the country. When I was in Afghanistan, you ever heard of the name Major General Harold J. Green? Major General Harold J. Green. High-ranking officer, a Major General. Most of you probably have no idea who I'm talking about. Major General Green was killed August 5th of 2014 in Afghanistan. He was killed there in Afghanistan. The highest ranking officer killed out of the country since about 1970. Now this should have been kind of a big deal. It barely got a footnote in the news. And guess what our government did in response to his killing, and several others were killed also, just as important. But in response to his killing, our government did nothing. No recourse, no reprisal, no counteroffensive, nothing. Absolutely nothing, because that's what it meant to them. This is about the same as Benghazi. They cared nothing. 600 requests for extra security ignored. How is that possible? Ask anyone, how is that possible? All this going on and the mass media fueling a lot of this, trying to create this giant divide. You want to talk about divisive? What is divisive is what the Democrats, the convention, the party, Hillary Clinton are doing. We're seeing some movement now from the higher executive office toward some of the ISIS fighting or this, that, and other. All of a sudden, this is not all of a sudden, this is timed out, and this is to coincide with the elections to try to bolster support for Hillary Clinton. This woman does not care one iota about any of us. I can guarantee you and assure you of that. Otherwise, this free flow of refugees coming over here, when they could be supported in camps over there, when Saudi Arabia and others should be the ones giving them the support and doing things, as well as a few other places, that's what should be going on, not just free-flowing them into here when we can't vet them and they will endanger our life. But maybe that's their point. Maybe that's what they want. The more friction that is caused between the races, the more friction that is caused between the religious masses, maybe the more friction that is caused between Americans and illegal immigrants, the more better it is in their favor in their hopes of getting more votes to get in the highest office in the land. Let me tell you, folks, I do not want Hillary Clinton in office. I will make that absolutely plainly clear. I don't want her there because she is a liar. She lies time and time again. Proven lies, not maybe kind of speculative, proven lies. To all of us, each and every one of us. On the stage, they had the mothers of the young men who were killed by police officers in different situations. They had them up there. They had the cons up there. All this. They had Black Lives Matter up there. No one's allowed to say all lives matter, which is absolutely insane. and ridiculous. All means all, everyone included, as it should be. And then they're having a Black Lives Rally march, protest, and you have this woman up there, and the one supporting her in this, on a megaphone, on a bullhorn, yelling to the entire crowd, well, this is for blacks and browns. All you white people go to the back. Well, that just reminded me of Rosa Parks in reverse. And it was incredulous that they would even dare say something like this, much less all of the other remarks that are being made toward killing police officers, attacking police officers, which has been on the rise. This is insanity. All the white people, go to the back. This is for us. Yeah, that's real joining. That's real community spirit. That's real kumbaya, bring them together. Not hardly. We, I am afraid, are in a fight for much more than something as simple as just any old election. For something that is much more detrimental to each and every one of our lives. This needs to stop. We do not need more government. We do not need Hillary Clinton. She lies consistently as she has for all this time. For her career has amounted to virtually nothing. Almost no one can point to anything that she's actually accomplished that's worth a damn. Anything. But we can point to a lot of lies that have been told. We can point to a lot of mistakes that have been made. We can point to factually. We can point to a lot of things that she's done that's jeopardized our security. And by our security, I mean for the entire country, for those that work in our security branches, to law enforcement, to the average person, you and I. If black people and Hispanics really think that this woman and this party is for them, they need to wake up and smell the coffee, because it's not truly there. And what they have going on, and with this refugee situation, I got news for you. They're talking about thousands upon thousands upon thousands. We're talking about 1 million, 2 million refugees over here, and just giving them free carte blanche. Here's your citizenship. Really? What do you think is going to happen to the economy then? What do you think is going to happen to the jobs? What do you think is going to happen to your safety? You and your family. You better wake up. This is not about that. Don't let the mass media take you off real message. Don't let the mass media block what is the truth, what is really going on here. This isn't about the Democratic Party. And if you stick with Hillary Clinton just because you're a Democrat, then you're an idiot. Look at the facts. That's what makes a difference. Go by the truth, for God's sakes. Go by the truth. Not for what the mass media does, not for what her great speechwriters write, not for the show. This is not the show, the circus, or any damn thing else. This is our real life and our real country that's at stake here. This can lead to massive, massive problems. It already is. Look at Europe and look at here. It is. We don't need to be divided. We need to stand together. I don't give a damn if it's Democrat. I don't give a damn if it's Republican. I don't care. I don't care black, white, brown, red, pink, yellow, orange, purple, green. I don't care. What I care is that we have these choices in front of us right now, a presidential race with these two candidates. Neither one have the best favorability ratings. Neither one. But her record is a abysmal failure. While Trump has not been a standard politician, and the more that the standard rule, the more the standard people, the more the ones on the side of the power and the 1% and the elites and so forth, the more that they go against Trump, the more I want him, simply because they don't, if nothing else. And I truly believe, watching him, that he's not lying about the fact that he does have the best interest of America and the people at heart, and he does want to fix the problems. Regardless and above, you have to look past some of the blatherings that he does. This is just the guy's personality. He doesn't have to have the most likable personality to fix these problems. And his solutions are better than hers, which no matter what she gets up there and says that her solutions are, you have to figure what? She's probably lying. And whatever she says is not going to materialize in the way that she says it. That's the big issue. That's the real case and situation. Bernie Sanders is not in this anymore. Sitting on your ass at home, not voting and picking someone is not the answer by any means. If you're not a part of the solution, you're sure as hell part of the problem. If you don't at least attempt and try in the right way, do something. But do it in the right way, for God's sake. Christians are under attack. Jews are under attack. Blacks are under attack. Whites are under attack. Hispanics are under attack. This is not Trump. Quit listening to the mass media spin. He's not against it. He's not against you, like they try to indicate. He says some of the stuff he says, and it doesn't mean what we think it means, and it sure as hell doesn't mean what the media spins it into. They choose to direct you. They choose to brainwash you. They choose to lead you around by your nose. That didn't work out so well for the Jews in Poland when the Nazis came in. And it won't work out any better here. And it could end up being just as or more devastating if we're not careful. We need somebody in there who is not the usual politician. We need that. We need somebody who's not going to go with lobbyists or special interests or whatever, that does have America at heart, that does have our best safety at heart, our security. She failed in Benghazi and every place else that she's tried to work any deals in security. They've all been a disaster. You're going to trust her with the whole country? Really? People need to wake up before it's too late. Because when you get something like this, and if it goes too far, once that ball starts rolling in that direction, it is downhill, it is heavier, it gets steeper, and it gets even more heavy. And then it's nearly impossible to stop. It's going to take a miracle and a hell of a lot of work to already repair the damages that have been done throughout the country and the world. And we need somebody that's not an insider to do this. We need an outsider. You know, Bernie Sanders is all right, but he wants to go the socialist route. And please, look up the statistics for all the countries who have gone socialist or who are. It has not worked. It doesn't work. There has to be a balance of several different things in different directions. That's why I say, I don't care about left, right, Democrat, Republican. I don't care. I care about who and what is better for the country, our primary safety, our primary goals, for the bulk of the country, for the bulk of the people. That's what I care about. And that's what everyone should care about. To hell with the rest of it. We need to make these choices one at a time, and we need to take it step by step. If we don't do this, the ending result could be beyond your imagination of bad. We need to put aside the petty things, the things that we think are so crucially important. These demands that the Black Lives Matter movement supposedly ironed out and laid out, I heard those the other night and was just stunned. Really? If black people think that they are not already integrated into the society here, where the hell are they looking and what's the weather like on their planet? Because it's not this one. I'm not talking about that there aren't any problems or issues that don't or do exist all over the country, all over the world. There are. There always will be. There's always fixing to do. There's always getting it better. But that doesn't mean like this. And right now is not really, they think it's the time because it's a presidential election. It's not the time for the smaller stuff. You better look at the bigger picture. Otherwise, you may have no picture at all. All these refugees and others coming in here, we will be attacked more. There will be more killing, shootings, bombings, destruction, and death. They will take, even the ones that don't do that, where do you think the jobs are going to go? Where do you think the money's going to come from to support 2 million refugees? Your pocket. My pocket. Out of your children's mouths to theirs. That's how it is. I hope more people can really, really dig in and really set this out. Whether it'll happen, only time will tell. Only time will tell. Everyone wants peace and prosperity and fairness. And that's supposed to be the goal, what we're all working towards. But we're not all working towards that, and we're being led by powers that have more greater control than we do as individuals or groups. We need to turn on them and tell them to take their message and shove it up their ass. That we're not so stupid, that we're intelligent enough to make better choices. We're intelligent enough to see the real writings on the wall, not the made-up ones, or not the I have some information but not all of it one. Take it all in. Use it properly. Let's try to make our country better, for God's sake, for now and the future. Have a good day.